of this match. We had a preview of this game and we thought about what's going to happen. Win the toss, do what? If you remember, Narayanan, I said win the toss, bat first. I said it was a
Bat
very
first.
unpopular opinion, and see what happened yesterday. Everybody, welcome to a very happy day. Smiling Narayanan, smiling Dev, and smiling India. What an amazing turnaround we've had at the Oval. Officially, London has fallen, Lords, and now the Oval. India has conquered the Oval after 50 years.
A fantastic day, no doubt. It was a very topsy-turvy match to begin with. As you rightly put, it was a good toss to lose. Looking at the result, what panned out over the course of 5 days. But more than that, I think Test cricket is also alive. For a match to go into the last session on the fifth day, uh, with all three results all three results were possible at the beginning of the day, but as it moved slowly into the second session and the third session, India's victory, which was the lowest on the percentage wise, turned out to become the highest possible situation. But that said, overall, awesome match to watch at the Oval. Lovely. It had everything for the batsmen, for the bowlers, for the spinners eventually in the last 1.5, 2 days. So it was a fantastic match. Fantastic match. Yeah.
Yeah, good point that at the beginning of the day, the win ratio, they were showing England win and the draw as major, the top two. India win, it was less than 10%. And as the day progressed, after the first session, there was a role reversal. And you rightly said, this match had a little bit of everything. It was drama, there was emotion, there was fun, there was disappointment, and there was rising back from the feelings. I keep on repeating myself with this one phrase that that gets stuck to me when I talk about this Indian team, especially this year to 2021. Now, what's been happening since 2019, the pandemic, December 2019, so all of 2020 and 2021, the world has been in lockdown, and people have been hungry for sport, to go out to watch cricket. And this is what this Indian team has given to its cricket crazy fans, the billion population, not just Indian fans. I'm sure people across the globe, they acknowledge and they respect this team for repeatedly giving such victories. Now, go back to Gabba, go back to Sydney, go back to the Lords. Now this Oval match, it's absolutely crazy. As a fan, I get hot, like not just goosebumps while I'm watching the match. Your heart is racing and pacing, and you can't take it anymore. I'm like, okay, I'll stay away. It's so much drama.
Yeah, absolutely. To begin with, the pandemic was a big challenge, and it still is across the world. People are confined to their homes. People are working from home. It's a tough proposition for people to keep up their spirits, uh, keep up with. So this is completely new and challenging, though it's been prolonging for a while. And you could see how India as a team had to scrap a lot of series and matches which they had planned to have in 2020 to much later down the year, or possibly 2021, looking at the situation and monitoring the situation. So this meant that when players came back and went into a bio bubble with the IPL and the other smaller tournaments, you could see fitness was a very big issue for a lot of players, because they didn't have access to the training facilities,
Yep.
because training facilities were not allowed to be remain open. They had to, whatever fitness that one had to do. If one has a in-house private gym, then fair enough. But then Your trainer couldn't come and visit you, or give it always to be verbal or video conferencing, however you'd like to put it, or look at other videos and maybe train by yourself and just hope that you are at least keeping yourself fit. But doing that is not even remotely close to being match fitness. So you could see a lot of injuries started cropping up. Players were played one match and then got injured midway, got ruled out for a few matches. So some missed the entire series. So Ishant got injured just before the start of the Australian tour, got ruled out of the entire series. That's when the whole injury thing started piling on for a lot of players. And you could all see that the reason why Gabba was special was because some of
Yeah.
the players who ended up playing for India, taking nothing away from their effort to even reach that stage, very few would tend to play or get more chances moving into the longer duration
Yeah.
down the line. Let's hope that they have as much success as the other players do for the Indian team. But nevertheless, I mean, that quartet of Siraj, Natarajan, Shardul, and who else was that?
Washington. Washi.
Shami was out. Yeah, Washington. No, did we have just three paces? Okay.
Yeah.
Washington. Yeah, these are all guys you would not want. You may not see all of them playing in the same team again.
Yeah.
It'll be that much of a rarity. But yeah, to pull off something as remarkable as that and GABA, and then now with the bio bubble facilities provided, where the team is not meant to step out or interact with anyone from the outside world, and you're all in a secure
Hmm.
environment and you have access to the training facilities. Your fitness has improved. Match fitness is what is the main priority for all the players. You can see now that players are taking this seriously and they have realized the risks of interacting with anyone in the outside world. You could just put the entire team and yourself at risk. They have understood the challenges, which is predominantly still uh, ongoing, and
Yeah.
we should be happy that starting with Australia, at least in the latter part of the series, certain amount of crowds are allowed into the stadium.
Oh,
uh,
absolutely.
in India as well, if you see in the first test in Chennai, no one was allowed in. In the second test, which I was lucky to have witnessed one day at the stadium myself, I was one of the few who could get a ticket and go and attend a day of live cricket match over there. Where when it moved to Ahmedabad, a crowd was allowed, but then the moment a positive case was detected somewhere, you could see
Hmm.
the white ball cricket was completely behind closed doors. So now it's now a welcome change to see that crowds are allowed in England in entirety, and that adds a different flavor to watching the test match in itself. And it was good to see that all 5 days of the test match were packed to the core,
100%.
packed completely, not a empty seat at all. Obviously, with Indians anywhere in the world, you will get all the color and the flavor and the sounds and the drums, and that adds a flavor to watching a test match either live or on television, like you and me as well sometimes. So yeah, overall it's a good thing. And test match is alive. To see again, I'm just repeating, but to see a test match going into the final day with all four
Yeah.
results possible, fourth one being the tie, uh,
Yeah.
you kind of hope that it's alive and kicking in. That's the way to go about, because irrespective of what one day cricket or T20 provides with its own charm of entertainment and skill, and
Yeah.
a quick uh, conclusion to a high scoring power hitting game, I think test cricket is all about skill. It's not about trying to get hit out of the park or trying to bowl fast. It's about having a strategy, building on the strategy, and it's not one over. It takes about a few overs, 3 4 overs, for that one delivery to. And it's you just hope that the batsman doesn't read into your strategy, and the batsman
Yeah.
otherwise will be having their own strategy in itself. So coming back to England, sorry for this lengthy rant.
Oh
Coming back
no,
to
no,
England, I
that was
mean,
not at all a rant. It was sharing your emotions, which I would love to do that as well. And you've hit some really good nails on the head when you spoke about the important contribution of various people and also being Test cricket alive and kicking. Who would have wondered in 2021 you would see young kids coming to the stadium to watch their favorite cricketers. I could see some young English kids with rude, the famous chant written on their placards, and same with Indian kids, girls. It's now catching up with young girls following cricket. So I do understand, and I absolutely my heart went out to all those fans, and in one slight corner of my heart, I felt a bit of jealousy because here in Melbourne, we are in a perennial lockdown since 2020. We opened up for just a little while, but then we went back to lockdown. But along with that jealousy, there's so much heart and so much enthusiasm and so much love for this game. It keeps on increasing, and when we speak with each other, we discuss the match. I discuss it with you, with my friends Piyush, Vinay, Murugesh, Hitan, and Harish. It adds so much flavor. Also, Saurav and Nakul and our other NPCL group. It is amazing. At the end of the day, there's about 3,000, 4,000 chat messages in your history, and you're like, what did we talk about last night? But yeah, sorry, I just hijacked your log. Please go on.
No, to just continue with that point before I move on ahead, because as a kid, when you visit the stadium, you will not forget the first time you walk up the steps and
Oh,
watch a
absolutely.
live match.
Yeah.
For me, I do remember my first test match experience was at the Prepon Stadium. It's one of the most awesome stadiums in India, one of the most brilliant stadiums in Bombay, obviously competing with the Wankhede, but I have uh, a love history romance with Prepon because it was the first time I saw a test match. I saw India playing the West Indies back in '93. And it was an experience, after seeing all those matches on TV, watching something live, you see your favorite player running for the ball, you see your favorite bowler bowling, and you see your favorite batsman batting on the crease. I mean, it was a phenomenal experience for me. And yeah,
You're in
back
touching
then,
distance
obviously
of
the
them.
ticket rate, and back then the ticket rates were much cheaper than what today is. But
Tell me about it.
taking nothing aside, that was the first experience of me live in a cricket stadium, and I cannot forget that ever. But yeah, coming back to for the English, I mean, you got a feel for the English over here. They started off the day at 77 for no loss, having all 10 wickets in hand, chasing 368 with just about 280 something to get for, with 90 overs to go. It is, and the pitch, if you look, the pitch was completely docile, right? I mean, it had nothing for the quicks. You could see the ball had already softened up on the previous day when India bowled their 35 overs in itself. So India knew what they were up against, because if you're going to play for time, England is definitely going to run away with this match. So the only way to get something out of this, maybe push for a draw, would be to get wickets. So, I mean, you got to give Shardul the credit over here as well. What a phenomenal batting performance, 50 in each innings. His 100-run partnership with Rishabh Pant in the second innings, and picking up the first wicket of Rory Burns. I mean, that there was a small crack in the door where we felt, okay, we can push on ahead. And unfortunate drop by Siraj at covers. I mean, obviously he wouldn't have expected it, and he kind of like made a mess out of it. But it was overall, once we got the run out of
David Malan.
David Malan, I think that's when we realized that time to pile on the pressure, because you could see that apart from when Hamid was batting with Malan, you could see Malan was taking the sheet anchor role of trying to get his eye in, and Hamid was trying to get the quick runs and getting the scoring rate up. But the moment Malan got out and Root walked in, Root is not a guy who's going to stick around. He's going to keep going for the runs. So Hamid had to fall back onto controlling his wicket, but then the challenge with Root comes is that Root cannot be kept silent. You have to keep the strike rate, you have to keep the run rate going. And you could see there were about 6 overs or 7 overs where the required run rate was being about 3.3, 3.4, and they couldn't even touch 2. It was just 1 run of an over or a maiden, maybe 2 runs, maiden. They couldn't even reach the target required run rate of 3.3, 3.4. And you could see after a while, you got to look at the history as well over here, because England were given 72 overs by New Zealand in their 2-match series in about June earlier this year. To chase about 275, they still played out for the draw. India gave them 268 with 60 overs at Lords, and I don't think they had any intention of trying to chase down the target. Out here, I believed with about 125 overs to go, 35 of the day 4 and 90 of day 5, chasing 368 would have been a reasonably good target with enough time with a flat wicket. And you could see when they had a reasonably good start of 77 for no loss, they should have approached day 5 with an intent of trying to win, rather than looking at, okay, let's survive the first session and then decide what to do. Because England generally, when they don't go in and they go, and this is for any team, to be honest, if you start playing for a draw, you're definitely already on the back foot, and the opposition sniffs that, and then they start attacking you more, because they know that the victory is definitely out of this. So why not go all out and try to roll them over? And that's exactly what happened.
And yes, again, some very good, some valid points, Narayanan, hitting the key again. A few things that stand out for me. You rightly said, once that door closes on England victory, once Virat sensed that, once the Indian team sensed that, okay, they're not going to go for a victory. So that is out of an equation. So what that means is the other two outcomes are in our favor, because who could have imagined at finishing?
But still, the India loss was still at that point of time. The India loss was still the least.
No. What I mean is, if England is not trying for a victory, then these two options are, the only possible outcomes at that point. And who could have thought after the first inning debacle, where we were bundled out for less than 200, we could have had that opportunity of saving the test match or possibly winning it. So Virat was smart enough to sniff that opportunity. And again, we'll bring this guy into our discussion. Lord Thakur, the man who changed the fortunes, who who started the turnaround with his first wicket with Rory Burns, and then the important one of Mr. Wu. He opened the gates for them, opened the gates for India, and that beauty of a delivery that got Hamid out by Jadeja. And not to forget the ball of the match by Jasprit Bumrah. As you, before we discussed, sorry, I took away your line, but before we started this pod, Jasprit Bumrah bowled an amazing spell in tandem with Jadeja and Thakur simultaneously. So after that, that post-lunch session of about 45 minutes, England scored only 6 runs and lost 4 wickets in that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Dave. I mean, to be honest, I want to know what the Indian team had for lunch. Because pre-lunch, I'm not trying to take anything away from the effort, but yeah, some nice Goan Vindaloo curry, But to be honest, that spell of Bumrah of 6 overs was, I think, one of the most phenomenal bowling spells one can watch.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't, you please have to watch it ball by ball.
Yeah.
You cannot watch a highlights and expect to have seen the Bumrah spell. Six
No.
overs of fearsome bowling, and he literally softened up Pope. You could see again what Pope. Sorry, before I come to the Bairstow dismissal, the Pope dismissal. Why is it so important? Is because Pope had scored 81 in the first
Yeah.
innings.
In the first
Oval
innings.
is his backyard,
Yeah.
and he has a tremendous record at the Oval. He scored centuries there. He scored a
Yeah.
95 against New Zealand or South Africa also. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and he scored an 81 in the first innings.
Mm.
The dismissal, if you look, he is not, again, as mentioned earlier, he is not sure whether to come forward or fall back.
Yeah.
He is in that no man's zone where he just hopes that he'll poke a bat and just hope that the ball hits the bat and he's safe.
Mm.
That was, it was just pure raw pace. And Bumrah exploited the reverse swing. In this
Yes.
case, in the Pope dismissal, there was not reverse swing. It was a slight nip of the wicket,
Yeah. Very
took on
little.
the inner thigh pad and crashed into the stumps.
Yeah.
But the Bairstow ball was the ball of the match. What a brilliant Yorker! I
Yeah.
mean, I wish I can just record it, or keep that. There should be a GIF for that, because it was a phenomenal ball to get rid of Bairstow, who is actually one of the top batsmen for England, taking
Yeah.
nothing away. But on a duck, after facing what, about 15 deliveries, that was a phenomenal ball. And to follow that up with a Root Yorker,
Yeah.
who he could barely see the ball.
Yeah.
Root is one of the mainstays of the England batting, and he couldn't see that ball. He was just lucky to get the back end of the toe end.
Yeah.
It's not even the toe end; it's a back
The
end of the
back
toe
end
end
of the
where
toe end.
it's just lucky that it deviated away from the stumps. Otherwise, it was crashing into the toe or the stumps. Either an
And
LB or a bolt.
yeah. And the
But
stumps were safe because it was Root. Had it been any other batsman in the English side, no. They wouldn't have played that ball.
yeah, you just cricket is a game where you also need luck to go your way.
Yeah.
You look at all the umpire calls and the referrals. You see the drop catches. We as a team, as a player, as a fan, you kind of rue the chances. But sometimes when things go your way, you need luck to go your way as well. And Root has played brilliantly. So yeah, why not? He got the little bit of luck to escape the Bumrah delivery.
Yeah. And to add to what you just mentioned, Narayan, why those wickets were special, that spell by Bumrah was so special. I was observing him. He had a plan. The reverse swing working for him. I saw the interview, the post-match interview where Virat said, the moment the ball started swinging, Bumrah said, give me the ball, I want to bowl. And then he had a plan. He pushed the batsman back with his, short of good length deliveries. They were still quick ones. And then the last ball would be full, inviting them for a drive. And that's where he pushed in those Yorkers and those beautiful good length, fuller deliveries that got Pope and Johnny Bairstow out. And all this while, he consistently maintained of 140 plus pace on a pitch that was dry, and it was bright and sunny, 26 degrees, and with Indian crowd in the stadium, they were feeling at home. Practically, they were playing in India.
Yeah, I mean, all this earlier talk, about flat track bullies. I guess India has done a reversal of that by going and winning in England, and
We
twice
are
over the
proud to
course
be
of this
flat
series.
track bully bowlers. That's a
But
bowling
it
unit.
it
Yeah.
takes it it takes a team, or it takes a segment of fans to criticize, saying India can only win at home. But it's a different effort. It, it you can't but just appreciate that the bowlers are doing this day in and day out over the
Mm.
course of every test match, whether we win or lose. I mean, you got to appreciate that, getting 20 wickets in a test match is no mean task. And
Absolutely
they
not.
have been regularly delivering it.
Yeah.
And you got to appreciate what the support staff are doing over here. I mean, to keep and this is a lengthy tour of 5 test matches.
Yeah.
Uh, there are 4 test match series, there are 3 test match series. You got to keep the bowlers fresh. There'll be tired legs, there'll be cramps. Uh, the moment the day is over, hit the ice bucket. I mean, start relaxing,
And
winding
the
down.
masseurs are
It's not
working on
just you.
your shoulders and legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shoulders, legs, calf muscles,
Yeah.
most
Calf muscles.
importantly.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, it takes a lot of effort that doesn't come out on the front side of the camera, but what goes behind, it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, it's a lot of effort involved. But to see the bowlers bowling like this day in
Yeah.
and day out, picking up 20 wickets, irrespective of whether the batsmen score the runs or not. You could see right now the lower order has now realized that they need to contribute some useful
Yeah.
runs over the course and duration of the innings. And irrespective, over the longer course of, when you look at the schematic of how the match panned out, you kind of like have to appreciate what Shardul 50 in the
Yeah.
first innings. We were 127 for 7. He
Yeah.
scores a quick 550, takes us to 191. I have a very different uncommentary outlook towards how to analyze the match, which would mean
Mhm.
that I always look at how each performance can be cancelled out or has been cancelled out with the opposition. So if
Mm.
we look at Shardul's 50 in the first innings, it was
Very good.
cancelled out by Vokes 50.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
works. Yeah.
Vokes 50.
Works 50
I
more
look
off.
at
Yeah. Yeah.
a
The
lower order
equals.
batsman versus a lower order batsman.
Yeah.
A Pope 81, you could maybe look at a Rohit
Okay.
or a Virat. Yeah, Shea.
Yeah.
So what Vokes got, 4 wickets in the first innings,
Yeah.
Umesh got 3, so that
Yeah.
kind of cancelled out. So if you look at it over the course of the 5 days, it has been neck to neck. There has not
Yeah.
been a complete standout winner. It is just when the second innings, the platform set by Rohit, I mean,
Rohit
as an
Sharma.
opener, to score that 127, that set the momentum, that set the
Yeah.
platform. Brilliant partnership, a beautiful 50 by Shea. Good to see him in the runs. And you could see even Virat chipping in, getting a 50. Unfortunate that he got out to Moin. And then the
Mm.
most important, the 100-run partnership with Rishabh Pant and
Yeah.
Shardul Thakur at the end. You kind of you could see the English their momentum on the field. They were tired. They were tired legs. They had spent 2 whole days. You remember our
Mm.
pod as well, right? When we
Yeah.
just before the commencement of day 3, day 4, I said the 2 most important days, the series decider is
Yeah.
coming up, and we have to bat for time and runs, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
For a moment, England came onto field, and credit for them to even get us out for 466. But
Mm.
I just felt that they should have actually gone for the victory rather than playing out for a draw.
Yeah. I understand. Okay. We can go on and on talking about the Oval, but now we have some important news and important game at hand that starts in 3 days. The important news, of course, the coaching staff of the Indian team won't be on the field with the boys, so it'll be pretty much over Zoom. Very crucial time and timing of this illness, and there's so many possibilities. What could have happened if some of the players got contracted? What if Virat got contracted because he was in constant touch with the coach? Luckily, nothing like that. But if something happens on those lines, there are a lot of ifs and buts combinations. You would think of who to play, who to sit out. You don't have any options. You have to play people who you might not pick up, but then because of this match scenario, this series that it stands at, they have to pick them. But yeah, so that's all boiling to my next point.
The X factor. The X
Yeah, the
factor
X
which
factor.
no one has a control on.
Yeah. So at this point, how do you see the final when we walk into Old Trafford? So India walking into Old Trafford just at the same time Ronaldo has done. So how do you see the Indian team shaping up? Who do you think would be your picks, or do you feel? Let me be specific here. Do you see Ajinkya Rahane playing in or missing out? That's number one. Second, Ashwin coming in or missing out. So these are the two crucial ones. I don't care about anybody else. These two.
To be honest, I'm going to take your wise decision, which you have predicted for this match, and I think Rahane will continue to be picked for the next match.
Yeah.
And I see Ashwin missing out at Manchester.
Yeah, I think I had a similar opinion. Many of my friends will not like what you and I have just said. I think on similar lines that Ashwin will miss out, unfortunately, and Rahane will play because that's what Virat is, and the team is confident. The coaching staff, they are confident about the playing 11. I think we'll continue with the same 11. We can
And
go
I
on
have a
and on.
very,
Yeah.
I have a very a good point, and this is for all the kids who may watch, may want to be learning. There was one particular delivery of Chris Overton to Shardul Thakur, day 4. Day four. A very quick bouncer. Ball hurried onto him. He didn't expect the ball to come at him at that pace, and he's going for the hook, a pull.
Yeah.
But what I liked about it is, even though he's gone for it, the ball has come much quicker than what he's anticipated. It's hit at the toe part of the bat, and it's gone back towards mid-on or mid-off, somewhere around that region, around that. But what I liked about that shot was, even when he was going for the pull, he turned his bat to ensure that the ball remains on the ground. It does not, it's not skying the pull or the hook. So that's a very good technique for anyone who wants to pull or hook, right? When you're trying, you always want to pull it and keep it along the ground. So you kind of like play it like this or like this. So
almost
that is
a
very
good.
that is a very good thing that I wanted to point out. And to be honest, I am of this personal, again, this is my personal uncommentary opinion, is that I think we should start grooming Shardul to be the replacement for Hardik Pandya.
Yeah,
for the white
high
ball
time
cricket
now.
as well.
I'm happy with the way Shardul. In fact, I'm more than happy the way he's been performing in white ball cricket. But yes, you're right. We have to focus on developing Shardul Thakur.
He gives us the bowling. He gives us a bowling flexibility as well as a good lower down bat in the team.
And he's
unlike
a decent fielder as
Hardik,
well,
who presently cannot bowl.
Yeah. Wonderful test match, a wonderful victory that the Indian team presented to their fans. But it's time for me to wrap it up here and say goodbye, everybody. And before we go, I'll share some more pictures from Narayanan's travel diaries. This time around, he went to the Konark temple and Puri. Enjoy. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.